Floods in Nova Scotia, Canada. July 22, 2023. The heaviest rain to hit the Canadian Atlantic province of Nova Scotia in more than 50 years triggered flooding that caused unimaginable damage, and 4 people were missing, including 2 children, officials said on Saturday. The storm, which started on Friday, shed more than 25 centimeters 10 inches in parts in just 24 hours, the same amount it normally makes landfall in 3 months. The resulting floods washed away roads, weakened bridges, and inundated buildings. "We have a frightening and significant situation," said Nova Scotia Prime Minister Tim Houston, adding that at least 7 bridges had to be replaced or rebuilt. "The property damage to homes is unimaginable," he told a news conference. Houston said the province would seek significant support from the federal government. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau told reporters in Toronto he was deeply concerned about the flooding and vowed that Ottawa will be there for the province. The flood is the latest weather-related disaster to hit Canada this year. Wildfires have burned a record number of acres, sending clouds of smoke into the United States. Earlier this month, heavy rain caused floods in several eastern U.S. states. Authorities have declared a state of emergency in Halifax, Nova Scotia's largest city, and 4 other counties. The regional municipality in Halifax reported significant damage to roads and infrastructure, and urged people to stay home and not use their cars. Images posted on social media from Halifax show abandoned cars nearly covered in flood waters and rescue workers using boats to save people. Houston, citing police, said 2 children went missing after the car they were traveling in sank. In another incident, a man and a young man went missing after their car plunged into deep water. At one location, more than 80,000 people were without electricity. Environment Canada forecasts heavy rain in the eastern part of the province, continuing through Sunday. One shouldn't assume that it's all over. "It's a very dynamic situation," Halifax Mayor Mike Savage told a news conference, saying the city had been hit by biblical proportions of rain. Canadian Broadcasting Corp meteorologist Ryan Snodden said Halifax's rain was the heaviest since a hurricane hit the city in 1971. On Saturday morning, authorities in northern Nova Scotia ordered residents to evacuate amid fears of a dam near the street. Croy can be broken. They then canceled the evacuation order.
Hit the car.
Oh no, it's just passing.
Oh.
Flood in Gujarat, India. July 22, 2023. Since Tuesday, Junagadh has been experiencing continuous rainfall, but the situation took a grim turn on Thursday when numerous residential societies and roads became heavily flooded. As the night wore on, there were no signs of the floodwaters receding, and the local administration expressed concerns that the situation could deteriorate further if the rain continues. A constant sinking feeling took over people in Gujarat's Junagadh as the town experienced its worst flood in several decades after heavy rainfall on Saturday. The district received 241 millimeters of rain in just 12 hours till 8 p.m. on Saturday. Residents witnessed a horror scene as the Kalva River, flowing through the town, unleashed flash floods that swept away cars, two-wheelers, animals, roadside kiosks, and handcarts. The continuous downpours on Mount Gurna further inflated the situation, causing water surges to inundate the town nestled at the foothills. Horrific visuals emerged for the district showing the havoc caused by the rain. 109 millimeters of rainfall was recorded in 3 hours between 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. in Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation, AMC, officials stated that it was the highest single-day rainfall received by the city this monsoon. According to the India Meteorological Department, light/moderate fairly widespread to widespread rainfall with isolated heavy to very heavy rainfall is likely to continue over Saurashtra and Kutch on July 24th, Gujarat region on July 23rd. A red alert has been issued for Junagadh, Jamnagar, Devbhoomi Dwarka, Kutch Surat, Valsad, Navsarai, and Surat. The Meteorological Department also issued a warning to fishermen, advising them against venturing along and off the North Gujarat coast from July 22 to July 26. The department cautioned that squally weather conditions were highly probable during this period. Sigiriya is one of the most impressive places in Sri Lanka, a site often touted as the eighth wonder of the world. Sigiriya, which means lion stone, is a palace as well as an ancient fortress that towers over a 200 meters high monolithic rock. The site, which is located in the Mattal district of Sri Lanka, attracts thousands of tourists every day and has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1982. Many believe that this giant monolithic rock looks unnatural due to its perfectly flat top, which almost looks like it was cut at a very precise angle. Locals believe that this ancient site was built thousands of years ago by a Hindu god named Ravana, who was part of a race of advanced beings known as Asuras. These gods are believed to descend from the sky and rule some of humanity, and then build this very magnificent palace. Inside there is the Stone Park Cave Palace Monastery Complex and terraced gardens. There is also a hydraulic water flow system consisting of water gates, canals, lakes, bridges, dams, and underground water pumps. Archaeological evidence indicates that the area around Sigiriya has been inhabited since prehistoric times. The area has rock shelters that are almost 5,000 years old. Besides that, there are many rock shelters and surrounding caves used by Buddhist monks and hermits since the 3rd century BC. Besides that, in it there are also several paintings on the ceiling and walls of the cave, as well as paintings of women who are referred to as the wives of the king. Sigiriya is considered one of the most important urban planning sites of the first millennium, and its site plan is considered one of the most elaborate and imaginative. The plan combines symmetrical and asymmetrical concepts to deliberately lock geometric and natural man-made shapes around it. On the west side lies a well-maintained garden for the nobles. The park contains water-retaining structures including sophisticated subsurface hydraulic systems, some of which are still functional today. The southern part contains a man-made reservoir that was widely used from the former capital of the arid zone of Sri Lanka. And given how ancient and complex Sigiriya is, archaeologists cannot fully explain why and how people brought the materials to this 200 meters high site. Many argue that this palace was built for protection. In the 470s, this giant stone became the center of the kingdom led by King Kassapa. He built a palace with a roof because he was worried about the revenge his brother would take. Before becoming King, Kassapa, who was not actually the crown prince, seized the throne of his father, Dadusena. Meanwhile, Moggallana, who was the crown prince, could not accept it and intended to take revenge. Kassapa then built a very magnificent palace with high walls and a wide moat that separated the palace from the world around it. Kassapa kept many crocodiles in the moat to guard and protect his palace. In addition, the king also made a pair of lion's feet which became the entrance to his palace. Nevertheless, after successfully building and living in Sigiriya for 11 years, at last Kasava met the crown prince of Moggallana. Moggallana stormed the palace and managed to overpower and defeat Kasapa. Moggallana, who later became king, moved his royal capital to Anuradhapura, while Sigiriya functioned as a monastery or residence for Buddhist monks. However, this explanation is still disputed by many people because according to them it is almost impossible to drag building materials at a height of 200 meters. Meanwhile, according to another opinion and ancient tradition, building on a high mountain or rock is in line with the concept of reaching the sky. The hilltop palace might be seen as the gateway between the human world and the world of the gods. And that is the reason why people in those days built Sigiriya Palace. However, whatever the reason, the beauty of Sigiriya is still a mystery to this day, and that mystery also attracts thousands of tourists to visit this place.